Right, buddy, welcome back to the latest Manchester United news. Now, in this video, we'll be talking about the MBUEMO deal closest. Medical will be happening soon. The deal has been agreed. We'll be going through all the latest that is coming recently on the situation. We've got some news around Juventus and Sancho, swap deal with Vlahovic and Rasmus Højlund as well. But we start off by talking about the MBUEMO stuff. Manchester United closing in on an agreement for Brian MBUEMO, and the base of the deal are in place. Negotiation now focusing on add-ons and the structure of the payments. United are set for a base fee of £60 million plus bonus payment, increasing the deal to £65 million. Brian MBUEMO is waiting permission to undergo his Manchester United medical. The initial fee for Brian MBUEMO has been agreed, with add-ons taking the deal close to £65 million valuation being discussed in order to get it done. Told Manchester United are edging closer to a full agreement with Brentford for Brian MBUEMO. Talks are progressing positively on a package with 60 plus 65 to reaching to 65. So listeners, looking at that deal's close, as I said, we probably will get the here we go in the next few days, which again is positive. I think with someone like MBUEMO, I think that deal is very, very close, and that's the update. Listen, he's waiting to undergo his medical. I think the deal is very close to happening. I think MBUEMO knows the deal is close to happening, and yeah, it's all about getting the final pieces of information over the line for that MBUEMO deal. Listen, you know how excited I am for the signing. It's a very, very close deal. £60 million, to be fair, is probably what he's worth. 60 to 65 is what I would have paid for him. Nothing more, nothing less. And yeah, it's all about the structure and the financial side of it now, or sorting out the financial bits, the structure of the payment, before we can move on. Now, the next thing I want to talk about actually is Rashford to Barcelona. Now, Barcelona want Rashford on a loan, for Manchester United aiming for a 40 million sale. English forward, who obviously has a fallout with Ruben Amorim. He's highly rated by Hansi Flick and could be a backup for Robert Lewandowski. Now, on Rashford, he's a player who, no doubt, he's talented. And going to Barca, would he go there? We know that it's reportedly his dream quote-unquote move. For me, what I think about in terms of Rashford is, would he go to Barca, kind of risk a lot to just be his understudy for Robert Lewandowski? Yes, he is 37, 38, so he probably is on his way of leaving, and he could eventually become the number 9. We've seen that he wants to play in the number 9 position. Could you well see that happen? We'll have to wait and see. But that's it. Listen, for Rashford, what I want personally is a 40 mil sale. I think you can definitely get that. I think Rashford's a player who, again, England international, experience over 100 Premier League goals, over 400 appearances for Manchester United, like numerous trophies, like Champions League experience. He wants to go to a Champions League club, and I think Barca could be the perfect suitor for him. He is probably our most sellable asset in terms of what was out of Sancho, Anthony, Rashford and Garnacho. And yeah, listen, I think I wish Rashford all the best. He's been a top professional and a really good player to watch, to be fair, at United. If you look at the way it ended, it has been quite difficult as a player, because again, everyone remembers when he broke through 2016, 2 goals against Arsenal. It was fantastic, and now he will be leaving. As I said, there's just not a future for him in the team, and yeah, simply just isn't inconsistent enough. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, and the final, Sancho and Højlund. Now, Juventus-born director Damien Comoli is described as vigorously pursuing a move for Sancho. The club hesitant about the huge wages, but in very hot contact with his entourage. Manchester United want a permanent sale. Juventus want a loan with obligation, or obligation based on certain circumstances. Manchester United have proposed the idea of a straight swap between Vlahovic and Sancho. Juventus expected to hold talks with United over Jadon Sancho. Now, we seen yesterday the reports about him potentially going to Fenerbahce. They're willing to pay his salary. Now, there hasn't really been nothing more breaking on that, but Juventus seem like the only other club interested. There's been like brief talks about Napoli, but I think it mainly is Juventus now. Again, the fact that they want to get him in. Swap deal for Vlahovic, no. I think just give us 25 million, we can move on. Again, the wages for Juventus are going to be a problem, and that's something that has been a problem for a lot of clubs. Fenerbahce seem they can get that deal done. It's an interesting one with Jadon Sancho, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I think with Sancho, he's one of the players. Him and Rashford are the two that most look like they're going. Anthony and Real Betis doesn't really seem like much is developing there, as well as Garnacho's exit as well, so we'll have to wait and see. Now, the final thing I want to talk about, Inter Milan and Napoli are the two clubs who have held the most contact for Højlund. Manchester United have told interested clubs they will take a fee of 40 mil. Inter Milan have told Højlund he will play a big part, but they would prefer a loan deal. This obligation. Now, who's the Inter have a striker? What, Lautaro Martinez? Is Dzeko still there? I know they've got Thuram as well, so they are in need of a striker. Obviously, he's 22, 23. I think he'll do well in the Serie A. He's obviously proved himself there where he can score goals. It's a much slower league, tempo-wise, in terms of the Premier League. And listen, Inter are a decent side. They get Champions League football. They made it to, what was it, the semis, where they got beat by... No, they made it to the final. Inter made it to the final where they got beat by PSG. Like they were a good side. They score goals. They got a good system. New manager coming in now as well. And I think Højlund for 40 mil is probably about right, to be fair. Listen, I do think there's a player there, but if you have to be ruthless, and that's something that United haven't been over the years, Højlund just isn't good enough for Manchester United. He doesn't have that clinical quality that we need, and I think, look at the striker department. If it's one on Højlund and Zirkzee going, which it has reported it's going to be, it would 100% be Højlund going for me. And I think, listen, 6 months, 8 months ago, it wouldn't be that, but look how the times have changed, and I think Højlund 40 mil into Napoli, if one of those clubs can get him, it'd be absolutely perfect. But listen, that has been the news. I'll wrap it up there. Listen, quick summary. Bryan Mbeumo deal closed. He is waiting to undergo his medical. The deal has been agreed in the region of around 60 to 65 million pounds. So yeah, that deal is getting very close to happening. Sancho, looking like Juventus come back in for talks. We hear the talks about Fenerbahce yesterday. And obviously Marcus Rashford going to Barcelona, and that deal could look like it's going to be happening. Now, on Mbeumo quickly, there has been reports about his wages, about 250 grand a week. I think it has come out in recent hours that he will be on around actually 150 grand a week, which I think is similar to what Cunha's on at Manchester United when his contract kicks into place as well. So it isn't too much there. And then that's probably about right. You don't want to be playing players over 200k. But listen, I'm very excited for Bryan Mbeumo to come in. We're going to get that deal finalised. We know the second bid went in yesterday. And I think that deal is very close to being concluded. It's just the final structure payments that are looking to kind of be sorted. But yeah, thanks for watching.